Hi, it's John Binney. Would you take the red pill or the blue pill? And how would you even know what the choices actually were? So, this was definitely a choice I faced in my awakening journey. And if I rewind back to through 2015 and 2016, there were these really interesting moments in my life. And I remember most vividly when I would wake up on a Saturday morning. I'd often been drinking alcohol like whiskey and beer, celebrating a Friday night. And Saturday morning, I'd have a bath, and I remember I'd stand, drying myself off, and I'd see myself in the mirror, and I'd be looking at myself, and parts of me would be like, aching from, the hangover from last night, and part of me would just be examining my body and checking in on myself. And I remember very vividly seeing this red pill and blue pill version of me. Um, there was this just this awareness that the choices that I was making in my life at that time were choices, and that there was maybe like a different version of me in a different reality that wasn't making those same choices. And it was like I was being shown these two parts of me, and they were kind of two extremes. Like one was this, career hungry, kind of materialist, focused guy, that version of me that would, drink most nights and, um, felt a bit lost in their life. And then there's this other version of me, the red pill version of me, which was calling me, was like, hey, you don't need to do all these things. And life is actually a lot simpler. And if you choose to, you can make different choices. And so you can, step into that same simplicity, magic, and wonder that you had when you were a child, before you started drinking, before you started chasing a career or owned a house or had a family. And I just want to hold space for that. I want to hold space for that version of me. That version of me was very different to the John that I see in front of me now. And yet, um, the version I am now is who I was when I was a child. Um, I feel like it's much more of an evolution, and much more a reflection of true me. And I also want to share some of my knowings. I know that we're all unique. I know that we are all made from the same source of love of this universe. And we all have free will. We all get to make those choices. Like, do we take a red pill or a blue pill at any given moment? And that's really beautiful. It's a really beautiful honor to both be a human at this time, being able to make those choices, and then also to be around billions of others who are making those choices too. And to know that there's no wrong choice, and that it's important for all of us to know that there are different versions of us in different realities, all based on the different choices that we make, those different decisions, those red pill and blue pill moments. Um, then what happened to me, or what I put myself through, um, was in November 2017. I went to a Kundalini yoga session and meditated for an hour. It was the first time I meditated in my life, really. And it was really powerful. It was really beautiful. And I had this awakening experience. I saw the planets and the stars and the nebulas and the galaxies all being formed, and all the energies like flowing between them. And it was just so beautiful, so magical to see. And what I loved about that experience was it felt like that red pill moment. It's like I picked up the pill, I gobbled it down, and then I was like, okay, keep going. And rather than just step back into the version that I was before, I kept going. I said to myself, let's meditate each day. Like it just feels incredible. Like I had the most magical experience. And I wondered why I hadn't been doing this all my life. And, not every meditation I do every day since is the same. Each one is very different, and each experience is very profound in different ways. Today's meditation was all about seeing the hearts of every living thing on the planet and acknowledging all the challenges, the pain, and the fear that many of us go through at this time. Excuse me, and accepting that actually that there is love in every heart for their family, for their friends, for their part of the world that they live in, the whole world, and that the love that exists in each of us is much greater, much more powerful than the differences that we can perceive between us. And that this unites us, this love, and no matter who tries to divide us, we will always be souls and humans that love. And that's really beautiful. I felt with that meditation today that it is at a global scale incredibly important for everyone to know that we can all go through these changes at any moment, um, including myself. I can continue to take the red pill each day. And some of these, some of the changes in my life are more dramatic than others. Um, I've made so many changes in my life. I stopped drinking alcohol. Um, I stopped eating meat. I eat fish and seafood, but I don't eat, chicken or beef or pork. I exercise and meditate each day. I write songs to raise vibrations of others, and I do energy healing, clearing, meditations, and I'm also learning reflexology. All these moments have been, red pill choices for me. Um, and then I've also uh, done things like we downsized our house. We had a really big house, especially for the size of buildings in Scotland. It's like a big 6-bedroom house, and so we sold that and downsized to a very modest and beautiful four-bedroom house. Still feels very abundant. Um, and we had a motorhome as well, like a big RV motorhome. We also sold that and got a much smaller one. And all these things feel aligned. They feel like the right things to do. And very much, those choices that help you free up the energy of having to, maintain material objects that don't really serve you. And in fact, I got rid of 30 carloads of stuff. We have certainly for the UK, like quite a big car. It's like a small van. When you put all its seats down and the whole back of the car opens, we had 20, it was about 26 carloads when we moved, and then we just saved 4 more for a year later in the garage of our new house to finally get rid of, to check that we did or didn't need it. And if I talk about the awakening experience itself, everyone is different. Um, Everyone's awakenings are different. I've helped hundreds of clients in their journeys, and they all describe very different awakening experiences. There are patterns. I've met quite a few people that have gone through that red pill, blue pill moment when their first big awakening around 2017. It was definitely a big time of changes. But some people have been around. I remember speaking to someone who went through that experience, 10 years prior to that in 2007, and they said they were waiting a long time for more of us to join. If you're still listening to this, then please check out the podcast on Spotify. And if you are on Spotify, let's keep talking. We just passed the 10-minute mark. So yeah, I remember chatting with a client, and they're like, "I woke up in 2010. 27. I can't say it. 2007. Where were you all?" There was, at that time, like the internet was still in its kind of infancy, and um, YouTube and stuff, and there was a little bit about UFOs, a little bit about aliens and stuff, but not a lot. Um, and that's quite a lonely place to wake up into. I met other people that have really experienced much more of a gradual awakening, like they've felt it since birth. They've seen and experienced the kind of magic of this universe all the way through their lives, and there's just been phases in their lives where they've been more or less interested in it. So they just like swing like a needle, in or pendulum, in and out of those kind of red pill realities. Um, and and it's the practice, like they describe, like when they do more practice, like if they're doing readings, like tarot card readings, or um, you know trying to do mediumship work, or meditation, like those practices tend to bring them back into those gifts and help their gifts, develop again. I also know people who have been through what you describe as a walk-in. So a walk-in, um, I feel like it takes lots of different forms. I've seen it in people, and I have a family member who's been through it, where, and to some extent, that's what happened with me, where there's like this deal where your soul says, before you're born, says, yeah, I'd like to be this person up until this age or this time. And then I would swap in with like either a higher version of the of the soul, of the personality, or the highest version of that human. So you could describe, you know, a higher or highest version of John, like stepping in 2017 for me. And then in others, it can be like almost like a completely different personality steps in. And I've seen that they've really struggled to have an awareness of, um, the memories before then, but the transfer of memories between those different personalities is difficult. Um, so they're quite hazy. And what I really love about, just drinking some coffee, what I really love about the walk-in journey is that if you look at the whole world right now, and sometimes we get frustrated that we don't see enough change for the good of the world and every living thing. Remember that at any moment, any single person, and often groups of people in positions of power, can experience walk-ins. They can experience like a life-changing event, and it's accelerating. So that's the really good news. Um, the amount of people that are waking up is accelerating. My guides were explaining to me just last week that a friend had said, "Oh, John, you know that in 2024, around 4 times more people will wake up than compared to previous years." And I asked my guides, and they said, "No, no, that's not quite right. It's going to be slightly higher, almost 5 times the amount of people." Now, I don't know the numbers, and to some extent, the numbers of people that wake up aren't as important as the fact that there are more waking up, and that it is happening. It continues to increase across the world. And so, if we just reflect for a moment about what waking up really means, it is really, really hard to define. Um, and I would never want to create a definition that excluded anyone. I feel that everyone is capable of going through this journey. And a lot of it's made at a kind of soul and higher self choice level, and it also happens. The human makes the choice as well. Like it's an agreement between all aspects of you to go through this journey, to take the red pill. Um, there are common symptoms that people experience. You may or may not experience all of them. Um, you might not experience any of them. But if I list off a few of them off the top of my head, they include things like um, ringing in your ears. Like I felt like I'd have to stop music because I thought I had tinnitus, but no, it was my guides talking with me. So that was good news. Uh, Things like really becoming much more aware of the nature of reality. Um, Movies like The Matrix are really good because they help you challenge that experience that you go through, and you start to see, some people follow the Mandela effect, which is a really exciting effect of, the past changing, and new things coming in, and old things dropping out, and, logos and TV adverts and song lyrics, and the list is endless of things that have changed. Um, and there's a lot of beautiful magic in that. Like it's a really exciting subject. Manifestation is another big thing for people. When you read books like The Secret, or watch the Netflix documentary, or you follow people that talk about manifestation, a lot of the processes talk to this nature of reality where your vibe is attracting, and your intention and your thoughts and your feelings attracting in the reality to you. And this is not what we're taught at school. We're taught to work hard to create our realities, to physically earn more money and buy more things. But it is not the case. And um, it's much more about you and your vibration and your frequency and these things that attract in this highest version of you. They attract in these highest aspects of your life, your dream life, into you. Um, Sometimes I certainly went through this. As you go through the awakening journey, you can start to feel very isolated, very lonely. Lonely in crowds, lonely in your family. It's really hard when you see lots of people around you and they're looking at you, like, and they can see the change in you. They can see this dramatic change in you, like your energy shifts, and the way you talk, your facial expressions, your likes, your dislikes, like your personality goes to a big shift. And it's jarring for people, right? When you go through that fast, my wife, my family, they're like, wow, this is like a huge change in you. And to be honest, only recently have I seen a couple of people. I saw someone at work go through it recently, through awakening, and they were just, the shift was so dramatic. They lost loads of weight, and suddenly looked incredibly healthy. They're doing yoga and meditation. They talked about very freely about their experience. People asking like, "I hadn't seen you in 2 years, and look at you now. You look incredible. Like, what changed? Oh, I totally changed my life." um, and and in their work, they were very thoughtful and intentional, and with clear purpose, and very knowledgeable, and very confident, and very calm. And that was like a huge shift from the previous person that they were. And so when I reflect on my experience, my awakening, and what that means for others, yeah, it is a really big change. And just to hold space for that, like, it's really hard to explain to your loved ones or your partner, you've gone through this huge shift. And to some extent, you begin a new relationship because you're trying to get to know each other again. And I feel like that's a whole other podcast. But yeah, that's a big thing, feeling alone, because the experience you're going through is very unique. and just to hold space for that, just to acknowledge it. Um, and so we covered ringing the ears, Mandela effect, manifestation, the changes in personality. Um, stopping drinking was a huge thing for me because it meant that I could then wake up in the morning and do this sort of thing. Like it's a bit late now, it's 7:30 a.m. But I get up at 5 a.m. I go for a run, I do meditation and yoga, I record a song, and then I do like a bit of a talk like this, and that's a really beautiful experience to share. I couldn't have done that if I was drinking in the morning. I'd be still suffering with a hangover probably for the next few hours. Um, so there are big choices. The other big choices I've made have been I went part time in my corporate job down from 5 days a week. I don't even know how many hours, like 60, 70 hours a week, down to 3 days a week, which is still intense. It's still like, 30 hours when I'm contracted for about 24. But there's aspects I still enjoy, and I'll decide, how long I stay in that role and how long I continue to invest in my future of meditation, spiritual mentorship, energy healing, reflexology, all these aspects of my new life I'm building. And there's tons of other experiences. Like some people experience like physical changes. It's often like the Mandela effect. Teaches us like that. It's probably the biggest one for me, that our hearts. When I was a kid, we were taught our hearts were on the left, but just centered over to the left. And then for the last few years, they've been in the pure center. But then more recently, I've been hearing people talking about, like when I was doing my reflexology, and they're talking about anatomy. The tutor was saying, "Oh, your heart is in the center and it's off to the left," and that the left foot has the most nerve endings connected with the heart. So that's where you do the reflexology foot massage the most. So the list goes on. I would definitely recommend, finding your tribe, like finding, YouTube channels and communities. It can be like yoga, meditation, dancing. It could be art. It could be anything creative. Finding places that resonate, where you find people that resonate around about your wavelength, around about your frequency. Not everyone needs to be going through an awakening, but being around people that are open-minded and excited about these new things that you're experiencing are really good. They're really good for you. It helps you with you not feeling alone and not feeling quite so crazy. For me, I found the Unbiased and On the Fence YouTube channel with Shane, and I think it was about 2018. I came across his channel, and I was just like, "This is incredible!" Like, he would have people calling in, and he'd have guests on his show like every week, and they'd always talk about the changes that they're going through, like what's going on in their life. They do some short meditations that have loads of different people from loads of different backgrounds, call in and just share their experiences and their journeys. And more recently, in the last couple of years, I've gone on the show quite a lot and done energy healings for people and readings and played some music. So that's super fun. And I'll be going back on this Friday, and I'm going to talk about this subject, talk about the newly awakened, and talk about what I'm doing to help others. What am I doing to help others? So I have a free workshop coming up, and it's called the 3 Keys to Your Awakening. It's on the 12th of November, and if you're watching this after that date, 12th of November 2023, it's absolutely fine. It'll be available on my website, johnbinney.com. um, and as a replay. And that's all about working through spiritual hygiene, understanding frequency and vibration, and also manifestation, like these three keys to help you navigate through your new awakening. And I'm also offering a range of other services, including hidden witch wounds, past life regression healing to help people with healing those patterns and traumas from past lives. I offer just quantum energy healing, where it's helping people doing energy scans of their chakras, working through every aspect of them, and to help them clear and heal and activate their psychic, their spiritual soul gifts. And also spiritual mentoring. I offer 3 to 6 month packages that allow people to have access to me, and I work with their guides to really work through like the best changes to support them in their life at that time. And yeah, and I'm also continuing to develop training courses. I'd love to develop a training course to help people that are newly awakened and help them, navigate some of these changes in their lives. And so that's definitely something I'll do. So if you want to find out more, please visit johnbinnie.com. That's JONBINNIE.com. And I hope you enjoy this podcast. Please stick around for more. I'm sure I'll be sharing more. Thank you. Sending my love from England this week.